Well, folks, what is happening? Caine here from Mentality Monsters, and welcome to Conflict Conversations. So, in this here new series that we're doing here, is we're going to be speaking to individuals that have lived through conflicts, maybe abroad or at home. With this series, what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to educate people and also tell the individual story of living through a conflict, how that person has navigated their life through the conflict that they have experienced, the learning within the conflict, and then also the experience, the good and the bad. With this series here, especially where we are from here in Belfast, people could try to say that we're glorifying or justifying people's actions. What we're wanting to do is just educate people, tell an individual story about someone's journey through life and how that conflict has impacted them. We hope you enjoy this here. I want to tell stories from all sides of the fence, and I think it's going to be something that people are going to really enjoy. Thank you very much for listening to this intro, and hope you enjoy this new series of Conflict Conversations. Well, folks, what is happening? Welcome to Mentality Monsters, and today we are joined by Neally Craig. You might know Neally from social media. He is wouldn't really say influencer, but he's very vocal in his coaching, very vocal PT. He's got a good presence on social media. You are out there.
I'm out there.
You make yourself known just in terms of your content and stuff, and then you have also lived a completely different life to the life that you've lived now. A life probably that no one else can actually, bar probably the men that serve with you, can understand. And I'd say people that watch this here, like even myself, will never understand, but we'll get a good insight into your journey.
Well, it's a long time ago now, but we'll take it up. Don't you worry about that.
We'll take it up. And as you said there just before, you've never really spoke about any of this here stuff, especially on camera. So this is going to be as I say, with the conflict conversations in the intro, which comes before this video, this is not justifying or glorifying like anything. This is just telling a story of your individual experience,
my life,
your life, and your life story and how it impacted. And hopefully, this can educate people and even just raise awareness about even what the likes of yourself has been through. And it's because, as was discussed before, there's some traumatic experiences in there, and some fucking heavy stuff, and I'm looking forward to actually discussing it here with you.
Me too, can't wait.
So, bro, we'll kick in here just at the very start. Where you're from and what you were like as a young person growing up.
So growing up, I was originally from like the Balmackay area in Lisburn. Actually Rushmore, beside where Balmackay Rangers play, if you know your football teams around here. So I grew up in Rushmore, little chubby kid. Came from a broken home pretty quickly. My mum and dad broke up when I was like 3 or 4. I can't remember what age it was, but it was a very young age. And then I didn't really see my dad for 10, 12 years after that. So straight away, I came from a bit of a broken home. I think I struggled a lot growing up without that father figure there. Carried a bit of weight. Never pushed myself into any sports. Don't get me wrong. I would have played around the street with my mates. In football, whatever like that, but in school, never ever pushed towards like anything physical. Always like, actually, it was a girl, Chantal Caine. I used to get her to write me a sick note for PE. This is how, which when we get on to it later, like the fitness that you need to have to be able to do what I did. The fact that I didn't even do anything like that when I was a kid is pretty crazy.
Were you academical?
But
in a way back then?
Mate, ADHD, which my brain, so in school, mate. So see in school, I actually got a B in English, C in Maths, which is quite good. I didn't revise a day in my life. But I never, like in school I always felt alright. There were certain things I struggled with. But I remember I used to go home, right? This is when I'm a bit older, during fucking like GCSE years. And everyone's coming into school going, oh, I fucking revised for 2 hours, 3 hours last night. I used to sit there and go, how do you do that? I would have been home, opened a book, and the next thing I'm fucking on the PlayStation. I just couldn't focus. And I never really thought about it until I was well over 30. And then when I started PTing, people were like, Neally, you fucking never stop, mate. You're always moving. Was then I started, and I don't like to go, oh, I'm ADHD. I'm not diagnosed ADHD, but there's definitely something there.
Yeah.
Because I can't sit still. But then when I do go home and I do chill out, I'm like this. Shutdown mode. Do you know what I mean? So it's complete up. As soon as I wake up in the morning, buzzing. Even if I've had an hour's sleep, I'll be buzzing. See, at night time, then I'll go home and just completely shut down, and then it's bedtime.
That's probably a good way to be.
It is.
As well. You could, like when you actually sit down, you can like completely shut off.
It's kind of like, in my eyes, I look at it. See, in the morning, especially, it's like a superpower. Because as soon as I wake up, I'm full of beans. Do you know what I mean? It's a proper superpower if you use it the correct way.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I would definitely be a more of a visual learner. I watch YouTube, and I will learn way more off a video watching it than having to read. That's a big lesson I've learned in life.
Yeah,
it's definitely I'm definitely more of a visual learner. Have to be, or if I do it, I'll learn pretty quickly. Whereas if I had to read out of a book, I'll struggle a bit more.
What was it like growing up in Lisburn at that time? Because
it was very loyalist. So a lot of my friends would have been like loyalist and building bonfires, all that crap.
Yeah.
That fucking day-to-day life of living in them areas. But definitely when I was about 13 or 14, I was beginning to be a bit of a product of that environment, which I didn't really like.
Yeah.
Starting to hang around with people that I was like, I shouldn't be doing this. But I'd always wanted to be in the army. That was, so it didn't matter what I did regardless. I always wanted to be in the army.
Would you have saw walk past the barracks and all up there and seen the soldiers and stuff?
Like literally, I've one memory. So obviously the history of the army in Northern Ireland, that's all to me. That's before my time.
Yeah.
But what I do remember is just this is like a vivid memory as a kid. Just me and my mum got off the bus, and there were soldiers coming. Where Wallace Park is. You know where Thiepval is?
Yes.
So they would have patrolled out of Thiepval and came down and walked around Lisburn town. I just remember getting off the bus and seeing these men in uniform. I was like, Mummy, they're there. She was like, oh, that's the army, son. So I was born in 87, so they were still patrolling the streets up until, I don't know when they stopped patrolling the streets, but obviously it died down a lot more.
Yeah.
But that's one of my memories. But I just remember I used to play guns when I was a kid, and that's why I wanted to join. It was nothing to do with, I just always wanted to be in the army, mate.
Yeah,
we used to run around. This is fucking hilarious. We used to make peg guns. You know what peg guns is?
Is that a spud gun?
No, it's way worse than a spud gun, mate. So we used to tie or like nail 2 blocks of wood together and get a nail, hook it over, and then get a peg and nail the peg in and an elastic band.
Oh fuck!
And you remember?
Slingshot.
Remember the old curtains? I mean, we used to fire nails at each other, but remember the curtain rails? There used to be like wee white things.
Yeah.
But see, if you took one off, it looked like the Star Trek ship. So we called them Star Treks. So we used to just buy loads of them from the shop and just shoot, mate. You want to see these things? Fire, mate, with like a fucking bullet. We used to have peg gun wars in the bushes and all. Like fucking chasing each other up down the hedges, so it was good crack.
I think when you're a kid, like you don't think about anything like that.
No,
like you
but
just see soldiers.
You could have lost an eye. Someone
Yeah.
that could have been my army career over before it even started. Do you know what I mean? But you don't think about these things when you're kids. But yeah, fun times.
And then you end up, so you joined the military at 16.
Yeah.
Very young age. A lot of people are fucking, like, as we said before, out drinking or fucking just out even playing PlayStation and playing Call of Duty at the time.
Yeah.
Fucking Big Red 1. And then you're fucking going to live it.
Yes.
How does that happen?
So basically, right, so as we were talking before we started the podcast, you said about Harrogate, obviously, because I was 16, I obviously went to Harrogate. So I was meant to go to Harrogate. It actually benefited me more in the long run to not go. But so Harrogate, you go when you're just turned 16 and you go away for a year. And what happens is you slowly learn what you need to learn. So that when you go into basic training, you jump in at week 12 instead of going through the first basic 12 weeks.
Yeah.
They'll build your fitness up over that year. So I was meant to go on the Monday, and I broke my ankle on the Sunday. The Friday before going. So obviously my heart was broke straight away. Like there was something stopping me from going. But my ankle broke. I chipped my bone or whatever, so I couldn't go on the Monday. So it was just, I think I was just turning 16, or I was 16. I think you have to be 16 to go. But to actually join the Paras straight in week 1, day 1, you have to be like 16 years and 6 months or something like that. So it worked out all right because my ankle healed pretty quickly. So then by the time I was ready to go again, I literally, instead of going to Harrogate, I just went straight into week 1, day 1 of training. But before that, obviously, before you go to training, you have to do the tests.
Yeah.
To make sure you're good enough. Which is, I've got a funny story about that. So obviously you have to go to Ballymena, and in Ballymena you do the strength tests, jerry can carries, farmers walks. You do pull-ups, and you have a 1.5 mile run to do. So I was quite a wee chubby kid growing up. I wasn't like super overweight, but I had a nickname was Porky. My mates would have called me Porky. So like I like my Mars bars, you know what I mean? So another wee thing about my sister was cross country champion of the whole of the country. So there was obviously fitness. It was obviously in my genes. It just never tapped into it yet. So on the day of Ballymena, I turn up, mate. I'd done a couple of runs, mate. I swear to God, they weren't even a mile. This was my training to join the parachute regiment, which is the hardest training in the world. Basic training, it's the hardest in the world, basically, And I turn up to Ballymena, and they're like, right, you have to run this 1.5 miles, 9.5 minutes. And there was another two guys there, and they were both going for the Royal Irish. And we were sitting there getting chatting and stuff, and they had told me that they needed to get 10.5. I was like, well, why do you have to get 10.5, and why do I have to get 9.5? And I was looking at these guys, and they were clearly fit. They were clearly like lean, and I was like, I'm going to have to beat these guys. And not only am I going to have to be in front of these guys, like I'm going to have to be a minute in front of these guys. These guys are going to have to be smoked. And so I was like, right. So obviously the 1.5 mile run is like, back then, it's so long ago, like, but it basically was like around a field. And then there's like a big fence, so you can kind of disappear behind the fence and you can back out around the field. So once you get out of the fence, you can kind of see where they are. But we started to, the thing he goes and we're running. And these guys take off like a fucking shot. And I'm already blown out of my hole. I'm not even fucking 100 metres in. And, but I don't know what, something just told me to keep going. And they were in front of me. And eventually I kind of overtook them. And mate, I swear to God, I was dying. Like, I mean, inside, I was proper dying. And I just kept running and running and running and running. And in the end, I remember looking back and I couldn't see them. And then it finished, literally fell over the line. Like, literally fell. Breathing like that, mate, on my back. And the instructor's like, get up. You really fucking pushed yourself there, didn't you? Got back in, he was giving us our times, right? So I needed to get 9:30. What time did I get?
9:29.
9:36.
9:36.
I failed by 6 seconds. And I was, again, heartbroken. I was like, oh my God, I failed. But they were like, listen, you see, because we seen the effort you just put in. That's exactly, to get into a parachute battalion, that's what you need to be shown.
Yeah.
So we don't really care that you failed it by 6 seconds. We're going to give you, because it's only 6 seconds, we're going to give you the opportunity to go. So we're going to pass you on just what we seen. That's what you need. That's what you need to give.
You had the fight and the desire to do it.
But what I want you to do is go home and start doing a bit more running, which I did. So I went home and I started running about a mile. So that wee run I was doing, I started running a wee bit faster and harder. But again, not the preparation you need to go to a parachute regiment. Again, it's an elite regiment. It's the hardest basic training to get into in the world. I just didn't get that in my head yet. So obviously then, get the Catrick. So you go to... where is it?
Did your mum bring you over? Or did you go over
no,
yourself?
I got to train on my own. Never been on a plane before. First time being on a plane. So I can't remember where we're flying to, but... Newcastle. You fly to Newcastle and then you get the train to Darlington. And then in Darlington, mate, I just remember getting off a train, mate. I had a real fucking funky haircut and all that. And I just remember these dudes, mate, like hench, with these berets, maroon berets, just peaked the kiss. Right lads, Pirate Depot, blah, blah, blah. Right, yes, right, on the fucking minibus, where you go. But they were all right on the minibus. So on the minibus, a few of us there, and I noticed like I was by far the youngest there. Like everyone was like 21, there was some like 28, 29, just chatting away. There was either had a few loads in that. We got drive into camp. As soon as we got into camp, mate, you just seen their attitude change. Right, in the fucking corridor, blah, blah, blah. You're fucking stupid. Like, what the fuck have I just walked into? So then, that's day one. Everyone gets their stuff. And then you get put into your rooms. And then... basically what you have to do then is you go up to the stores, you get issued all your kit, they kind of show you how they iron and stuff, but mate, obviously because there's guys there with a bit more life experience, like there's guys there who knew how to iron, I was literally learning on the go, And I remember even the fucking first night, mate. So we have to get up at 5:30 in the morning. You run down to breakfast, and then you go do fizz. We do fizz every day. Again, we're the only regiment that do fizz every day.
Yeah.
Most regiments only do it 3 times a week. If some only do it 2.
Would that just be in training, or would you do that even just barracks life as well?
This is battalion. Our fitness is just miles on the clock. Yeah. So that was day 2. So day 1, you get issued all your kit, you get shown what to do, and then you have to obviously hang it all up and try and sort your locker out. So, I remember it was 3:30 in the morning. I was still up, like trying to fucking sort my kit out.
Did no one try to help you or
no,
anything?
mate, there was no one. Everyone's on right now. Everyone's on trying to work. Everyone's just being in bed trying to get a bit of sleep for the morning. And I remember I had my wee light on, and someone, "Would you fucking hurry up, mate? We have to get up in a couple of hours." And I remember straight away just feeling under pressure.
Yeah.
Because I'm only 16, and these guys are a wee bit older than me, and no one knows each other yet. So there's no brotherhood yet.
Yeah.
That shit comes down the line whenever you're broken and moulded into that. So finally get my shit together. Probably got an hour's sleep up in the morning. So the first morning we'll do the 1.5 mile run. So I'm like, fuck, please, fucking do this. But mate, the 1.5 mile run in Catterick is a wee bit of a downhill, and then it's fucking uphill, mate. So it was hard, mate. But I got 9:28. So I would obviously improve my fitness.
Yeah.
Even though I hadn't been doing what I needed to probably do, I had got better. And obviously by doing that at 9:28, I was like, thank fuck for that.
Was there any lads failed?
Well, yeah, there was a couple that didn't come in, but you won't just get kicked off the first week for that.
Yeah.
You know, they'll
build you up.
There's a few things that we've done the first week, but then, so that was day 2, and then day 3, this is where I got found out again. So we were going for a 3 mile run. I hadn't run 3 mile in my entire life. Even in school, when you do cross country in school, I was a kid that walked the fucking cross country, just talk shit. So I'd never run 3 mile in my life. So I went out, started the 3 miles. You start as your squad, and then mate, we're out in the training area. Like, so the 1.5 miles kind of on the camp still. Now we're out in the training area on the metal fucking the fucking out on the fucking stones, and the metal track as they call it, but over cattle grids and shit. So we're running for 3 miles, and mate, the pack just started going away from me, and I was blown out of my arse. I was like, what the fuck have I got myself in for? And it was like me and just one other guy, but mate, and the screw's like, come on, catch up. And every time I tried to catch up, I was just even more fucked.
Yeah.
So literally, pack went away. I ended up fucking walking. Got back to the thingies. The screw was like, right, you're going to need to really work on your fitness here. And then I got home. I remember phoning my mum and was like, Mum, I can't do this. I don't think I've understood the memo here.
Yeah.
I've not realised what this is about. I don't think I can do it. And she was just like, well, I love you, I support you. I'll do whatever. If you want to come home. Sure, whatever. So the next morning, fucking went up the screw's door. I was like, no way, you shit yourself when you're training. They're gods. Like, I'm like, Corporal, I can't do this. What do you mean you can't do it? It's not for me. I've bitten off more than I can chew. I don't think I can do it. He goes, all right, son, get your fucking kit and fuck off then, yeah? That's literally. Yeah. So anyway, it was a stroke of fucking luck. Well, luck, it didn't feel like luck that day. So they were going on leave. The staff in the offices, like the clerks, were going on leave for a week. I can't remember what time of year it was, but there was a week off or something. So Hood Company was where you go. So when you have to get out, when you want to leave the army, you don't just go, oh, I'm gone. So there's a process, right, of elimination. You go to Hood Company, right, and then they sort out all your paperwork. Hood Company's like a just company way at the back of the camp.
Yeah.
And then they sort out your shit, and then you'll get discharged. People say, well, once you join, you can't get out. You can always get out if you really want to.
Yeah.
But within the first 6 weeks, that's how you do it. If you don't want to do it, you go to Hood Company and you're out. So we also have a platoon called Browning Platoon. These are guys that have got injured, and they've maybe come out at week 6. And then if they have to go to Falklands Platoon, which is the proper injury platoons, they'll do their rehab, then they'll go back to Browning, and then Browning will get them up to standard to where they were so they can jump in as close to the week off. You'll never jump ahead, but if you come out of week 8 and there's a platoon coming through at week 8, they'll throw you back in. You may have to do 4 weeks again, but they put you as close as they can, So Hood Company was filled. They were going on leave, so there was no one. So I couldn't get in anyway because it was filled. So they're like, right, Craigie, they call you your surname in the army. Right, Craigie, you're going to have to go to Browning. right? I was like, for fuck's sake, I just want to go home, get me out of here, right? So Browning Platoon is in the same complex as we are.
Yeah.
So in our complex, you have the Irish Guards, you have the tier 2 units, basically as you call them, the Gurkhas, Paratroopers, and the Irish Guards. We all kind of train out of one camp. Everyone else is on a different camp, right?
Yeah.
They like to separate us because we're kind of the upper echelon, I suppose. They want to keep us apart. But so I had to go to Browning. And I remember I had on my kit. And I went up to the door. There's a corporal sitting down. I was like, right, corporal. And he's a Scottish guy, mate. Funny guy. And this is the first time in my life someone had ever showed me like a proper wee bit of enthusiasm or dig. So basically, he'd done tours in Northern Ireland and stuff. His name was Robbie Grant. He was actually a Scottish boxing champion on tape. Really, really good boxer. Fucking knows. Scary guy. He wasn't very tall, but you just knew he was, by looking at him, he was a hard cunt. We're notorious for having the best boxing teams in the army. Like our 3-power won 11 years row, I think. So they're pretty good. We have a lot of good quality boxers. But so Robbie Grant was sitting there, Scottish guy. He goes, right, what's your name? I was like, Craig, corporal. Right, Craigie, come in here to take a seat, son. And his wee Scottish accent. So I went in, took a seat, and he goes, what else? Why are you leaving us? I'm like, I can't do it, corporal. He goes, why fucking not, mate? I was like, I just can't do it. He goes, where are you from? And I was like, well, I'm from Lisburn. He goes, there's not many Northern Irish guys in our battalion. We need guys like you. Listen, Craigie, this is what he started talking to me like a human, right? I hadn't been spoke to like a human yet. He goes, right, Craigie, this is what's going to happen. I have you here for at least a week. So this is what I want you to fucking do, right? I want you to stay here for 2 weeks. I want you to give me everything you fucking got. And see if you want to fucking leave after 2 weeks, you can fuck off and you can go home and you can cry to your mummy. But he said it with a wee bit of, he was still being a dick, but it was funny the way he did it, and it was actually backhanded encouraging me.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm stuck here anyway. But something just fucking flicked. I don't know what it was in my brain. And then within the 2 weeks that I was there, I ended up becoming one of the fittest guys in the whole of Browning. And there was guys that had been at week 10, and I was smoking them on the hills. This has been a 2 week period, with that mindset switch. So that one guy, this is obviously health and fitness related, right? This is how one person can change your life. That, if it wasn't for him, I would be back home. God knows what I would have done with my life. But that one guy changed my whole spectrum and where I was headed. And just by giving, so if you're out there and you're struggling, this, like I say, this could be health and fitness related. One person, if you see a coach online and you always see him helping people and you don't reach out, but you know you need to reach out, fucking reach out, yeah.
Would you have came across him in battalion after?
No, because he was 1-power.
Was he 1-power?
So he went back to 1-power. And then I went to 3-power because, well, I actually got claimed. A couple of my mates got claimed, but because 3-power, we knew 3-power were deploying to Afghanistan. So when I joined, it was 2004, done all training. The first tour of the first battle group going to Afghan was in 2006. So that was 3-power. Obviously, every single war that there's been since World War II, it's always powers that went first. This is why I wanted to join the powers, because my dream. That I joined the army because of 9/11. You see, not that I believe that all that's cooked up to what it was meant to be. So, but before all the haters start fucking coming at me, I understand all that. But as a kid who always wanted to be in the army, and then you see on TV these planes crashing in and there's talk about it, I was just infatuated then.
Yeah.
And my dream was to become a paratrooper so that I could be the first soldier into Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And that's how that all started. And then obviously just through the whole process, you kind of find out who you are along the way. But so I went to Browning Platoon, and then I just got super fit. And then it ended up that Robbie Grant, that corporal, after a couple of weeks, he goes, right, Craigie, you're going to my platoon. He was going to the next platoon coming through. Yeah. And I ended up going to his platoon, being in his section.
Wait, later?
Yeah. So he kind of, but he made me do everything. Fucking real. Man, I remember, there was him and another guy. I can't remember the other screw's name. He came in like halfway through, but they used to make us go around the officers' mess and all and steal their fucking... This is 3 a.m, mate. I remember picking me and Ian Spinks up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and we had to go around the officers' mess and steal their fucking chairs and all. We were throwing them in the back of their van and bringing them to their house, because they lived just outside the camp.
Yeah.
And so they're setting up a barbecue in their house, and we were stealing it from the fucking officers' camps. Brilliant, but it was good fun.
Did you have any nasty NCOs
yeah, mate,
during training?
So, see that first platoon I joined? 54 started and only 7 passed. 5 passed, sorry, because the screws were fucking arseholes. And this is the... Screws are meant to be arseholes, though. But sometimes they can be detrimental, too. But, but at the end of the day, so we had a guy... I remember a couple story. He was a horrible, horrible bastard. But listen, that's the way he run it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going against it, but in my opinion, sometimes it can be detrimental. But at the end of the day, if they're the screws of the platoon, they want what they want, and they're not going to change for no one, especially when you're a fucking 12, 15-year paratrooper veteran. You can fucking do what you want kind of thing. But one of our other instructors was actually Corporal Crabtree, and he was actually, have you ever seen Black Hawk Down?
Yeah.
He was in the French Foreign Legion before he joined the Powers. So he was actually there when that all happened. Like, he was fighting in that war. You want to see the medals he had and stuff. So
was he allowed to wear his French
No, but I remember on our pass-out parade, he called us into his office and he had his thingy gear with all the medals on it and all. And it was made of loads of them. It was pretty cool to look at. Like,
he's like one of them Korean generals. See them?
Yeah,
they fucking got all the.
Mate, you want to sit? Mate, there was so many, and I said, "What the fuck?" He was mad too, though.
So yeah, you'd need to be.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. So, but we had all that knowledge though, training us, and then I ended up being in 3-power with him. So he ended up being a good friend in battalion.
Hey everyone, Caine here from Mentality Monsters. Time to talk about today's sponsor. If you love the thrill of winning big, then you need to check out our King's Competitions, the UK and Ireland's top spot for incredible praise competitions. They're giving you the chance to win luxury cars, dream holidays, top tech, and even life-changing cash prizes, all for a fraction of the cost. And what's the best part of this? Entering is super easy, so you just need to go on, select your competition, grab your tickets, and then you're in for a shot at winning big. With guaranteed winners in every draw and some of the most amazing prizes out there, our Kings is the place to be if you want to turn a little into a lot. So, what are you waiting for? Head over to www.ourkingscompetitions.com now and grab your tickets, and you could be our next big winner. That's Our Kings Competitions, where dreams become reality, and enter today.
We'll just kick into the training itself and what you were like going through the training at that age.
So training, mate, is, do you know what? So paratroopers have 70% field rate, right? It's a hard game, but what I would say is most people can pass. It's not the issue of the fitness. It's the beastings you get behind closed doors, mate, that really do the damage. So, like, we do phys every day. Obviously, right, we're there for like near 30 weeks, and they build it up week to week. It's hard. You might do Monday. At week 1, you do a couple, like 3 mile run. Week 2, you'll do a 4 mile run, a 4 mile tab. You build it up till P Company. You know what P Company is, obviously. So P Company is obviously like the hardest. In my opinion, it is by far nowhere even comes close. It's the hardest fitness week in the world.
Would you say it's now? I'm just going to throw a spanner into the works here. Is it harder than the final and test week of the Royal Marines?
I have a knowledge I can back up with this. So we'll go off story here. So one of the Scottish lads, Ian McManus, he was in the Marines, and he got best recruit in the Marines. Then left the Marines after a couple of years, joined the Powers with us. He got best recruit with us, and I asked him straight up, whose training's harder? And he said, this is his exact words, he said, Neally, I'll be honest, see, bullshit-wise, like wet and dry and all that shit, he said the Marines, definitely a wee bit harder. But see, just pure physical fucking abuse to the body, definitely paratroopers training would be a wee bit harder. And that's the difference. But if you look at our P Company, mate, whenever we break it down later, you'll be like, fucking hell, that's a lot of trauma on your body. But again, it's like, so we could be doing, like, mate, so we'll do maybe, I was to say, we're building it up, we might do a 4 mile run on the Monday, we'll do circuits on the Tuesday, we'll do a tab on the Wednesday, we'll do circuits on the Thursday, and then we'll do a run or a tab again on the Friday, which might be a 5 mile. So slowly building up, and the pace slowly builds up. But every single fucking day, we're in the block, mate, and they're going, right, 100 burpees. And you have to do like 100, but all that impact on your shins. So you find in paratrooper training, a lot of people feel because they end up just their shins just crack. They've shin splints, stress fractures, trauma. And that's why a lot of people don't pass. Obviously, a lot of people just go, fuck this, I can't do this. But the way I used to look at it, after I had my wee 1 week when I wanted to leave, I used to just laugh. I used to just think it was brilliant. Because you just, when you look at it, you know they're just building character.
It's all a game.
So it's just a game, and you got to play the game. Like, if they tell you to 100 burpees, you fucking do 100 burpees. Or do your best to do them, you know? It's definitely a game, and some people fight against the game, and some people play along with the game, and the people that play along with the game definitely are the ones that pass. Because when you just roll with it, mate. Because, mate, some of the funniest moments I've ever had are just in training. Like, you can't even, just remember just giggling on exercise when you're freezing at 2 a.m. because the instructors just said something completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, or like when you're on the ranges and you're fucking, you do your picking up brass. And there's like 50s on the range, and the instructors are going, right, pick up the brass, but get down on your fucking honkers and make chicken noises. You're going, picking up, mate, but that's all character building, you know. See if you just roll with it and laugh. It does exactly what it says on the tin, and in the end, it does make you a different. Like, I'll go into it again. I'll tell you, this is the difference between being a paratrooper and being in the normal
Regiment.
Like, mate, I'm not shitting on the guard. I'm not shitting on any other regiment because they're really good. Some of the best soldiers I've been with were Irish Guards and stuff because I worked over here in the recruiting team for a while. But see, we're in a power battalion, mate. The mentality. This is the difference. The mentality, mate. So I remember in Catholic, right? So remember I said they were on the same camp. Us the guards, right? There was a platoon of guards, right? So there's an underpass from Arc to Hellies to Vimy. Hellies our camp. Vimmy's the camp where all the crap hats are, as we call them. Like the Royal Irish would be there, all Queen's fucking whatever regiments, right? The Kings, loads of different regiments over there. The Chippy regiments they're called. But so we were our platoon was behind our squad platoon. So when you get to the underpass, it goes to like you know where you go in 3 ranks. We have to break into 2 ranks to get through the tunnel. And so we're just behind the Irish squad. We're a good bit behind them now. And they're slowly creeping up on the underpass. And our screws, you can just see our screws just fucking looking at them going, fucking cunts. And he goes, right. So we're called Joe in training, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's Joe. You don't have a name, you're Joe, right? And our instructor goes, right, lads, this is what's going to fucking happen. If any of you bastards don't make it through that tunnel before them fucking hot bastards in front of you, you're getting fucked. You're getting beasted tonight. Stand by. Go. Mate, they were just getting
motivation right there.
Mate, we fucking flew through here, pushing cunts into walls, cunts down on the floor. We got through, lined up in 3 ranks on the other side, and there was just guard land everywhere, mate. And our screw actually got in a bit of trouble for that. Like,
is this during training? Or
this isn't training, mate. We're only week fucking 4 or something. But mate, they're building. This is the mentality that you are better than everyone. The guy, mate, there might be a guy in our squad who's far better soldier than me, but he's not.
Yeah.
In that moment, we are king, we are God, and we are trying to be better than them. But when you have that mental edge, it's massive. Like I say, I mean, some of the best soldiers I've met are like been the guys I work with, Irish Guards now. But you don't see that.
Yeah.
We're airborne, and that's it. We are the best, and that's just what they build, mate. That's the character they build, which is a good thing when you're in battalion. But if you have to leave early, like me, this is where it can bite you.
Yeah.
Because you end up in Civvy Street with all that pent up. And then you're just a nobody again, if that makes sense.
Aye, that's
but
something
we'll
we'll
get to that later on.
100%.
So training builds up. And then we'll get the P Company, which is our test week. So if you want to talk about P Company, we'll talk about P Company.
Yeah, 100%.
So
I want to know about that.
So P Company is, when I think about it, right, so it's a Monday to Friday, right? So our big thing is a 10 miler, right? So again, all the events are worked off like things like Arnhem, right? So Arnhem, we had to parachute in 10 miles behind enemy lines, from the bridge, and then they had to tab to there with all their kit. So this is why we do that. So to put it into perspective, right? For every other regiment to pass out of training, they have to do 8 miles in 2 hours, right? We have to do 10 miles in 1 hour 50. And this is our first event. This is day
start of the
1.
week.
This is the start of P Company. So we're doing 2 miles more, 10 minutes quicker. In battalion, we do it in 1 hour 40. So we do it 20 minutes quicker. That's the standard, and that's only day 1. So day 1 is a 10 miler. It's hard work. I think altogether you've 25 kg and I think it's 35 kg or something, maybe kit. but it's heavy enough. Like putting a 35 kg dumbbell, you're fighting kit, like you're fighting order, and you have to do that in that time. So that's Monday morning. So this is the Monday morning P Company. When you wake up for P Company, mate, you wake up and P Company is like the hardest week, but it's the most relaxed. There's no beastings. You're left to your own devices. You just eat like fuck, and you do your events, and then you just go back and relax. In the afternoon, then we do the Trinasium. So the Trinasium, obviously, we jump out of planes. That's our bread and butter. We jump out of planes. So we're meant to be battle ready by jumping out of a plane. So it's like a Trinasium, it's like an assault course. It's not like super exertive, but it's like 65 foot in the air. There's nets and stuff, but there's a Superman jump, there's an illusion jump, there's you walk the plank kind of way up high on the 2 bars. It's just to test you're not scared of heights. Yeah. And mate, there's actually people that go through the whole training and fail on the illusion jump. The illusion jump it's a bit of wood like this and a bit of wood here, but because of the angle, when you're standing on top, it looks like it's triple the distance. It does look quite far, so you look at it and go, fuck. And you're like, I don't think I can make that. It didn't have that effect on me. I just went, done. And then it was easy for me. But see if you're even scared of heights, this is where it fucks with your brain. But see if you can't do that one thing, instant fail. You've just done 26 weeks for training for that, and you're gone. Because you can't do it. Because then you're not going to jump out of a plane if you're not going to do the illusion jump. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to waste any more money on someone who they can't take that risk when you go to jump school. So you do the illusion jump, then you've got a Superman jump, which is where you sprint along 3 planks with an open, like a big gap. So you have to sprint, jump, and then you have to Superman through, catch on the rope, and you get down. There's also a whole other bit to it where you like, things go up and down, but it's easy enough. It was easy if you're not scared of heights. I'm not the biggest fan of heights, but I'll never not do nothing. Do you know what I mean? Just get it done. You join the Paratrooper, you know what you're in for. Like, there's going to be something to do with heights. So that's day 1 done. Day 1, go back, eat, sleep, wake up. Day 2. Now day 2 is the log race. This is the hardest event. Like, this is the hardest event in my opinion. Like I think it was Linford Christie, old fucking athlete, gold medalist maybe. He done the log, mate, and lasted about 200 metres off it. The reason it's so hard is obviously you've just done day 1, but so it's a 2-mile log race, right? Have you ever been to Catterick? Have you ever seen the landscape?
I've seen the videos from P Company. Like, I've watched that documentary, mate, the Power documentary.
They don't even do it just. See, when you're in the moment, mate, they are fucking deep hills. So we have to carry that log, right? So the log, it's not one of these logs. That's easy. The log has a rope, right? If you have people on the log, I think my log finished with three people.
4 arms on fire.
People fucking dropping up. But mate, so you have to, the rope has to be behind you, right? That's how you know you're moving with momentum. You get a warning if your hand goes here, right? Whatever number you are, warning. So, but the reason it's so hard is because you have to sprint before you even pick up the log. So it's like a 100-meter sprint, and if you don't sprint, they'll just sack your speed off. So you have to get in your belt buckle, and they go, right, stand by, go. You have to jump up, sprint to the log. So by the time you pick up the log, you're already blowing out your hole, and then you just see this gradual hill that goes way up and round, and you have to carry that on the double the whole way round. And it's 2 miles long, mate. 2 miles carrying a log like that is fucking hateful. And you go down and up these hills, mate. You go through water. Actually, one of the lads, Sean Robb, this was on a P Company before us. He ended up fucking falling, and the log fucking knocked him out in the water. And he still came around and tried to get going again. I don't think he passed because he was concussed, but because he fucking got up and tried to do it, they let him pass anyway. If you know what I mean? That event. But yeah, our log actually finished way ahead of the other log. There was 2 logs, like. But that made people shit themselves and stuff on the log because they're just not in control of their body, mate. Yeah. There's just so much. It's so painful. It's pain you'll hardly ever feel again, like when you do that. That's the log race, and that's in the morning. So then in the afternoon you have the 2 miler. So 2 mile, full kit, and you have to do it in under 18 minutes. Anything over 18 minutes, you've got 10 points. You start losing points after every 10 or 15 seconds. Because P Company's like a points event. If you come off a couple of events, you don't pass. I think you're allowed. If you put the effort in, and you can maybe come off one, but you're shown to put the effort in, they will pass you. Luckily I didn't come off any. But so day 2 is log and the 2 miler. Day 3 is then a steeplechase cell course. It's a 2 mile steeplechase, again 18 minutes. It's through water, over logs, under logs, up gradients. 2 mile long, and then you'd finish with the assault course. Again, you have to do all that in 18 minutes, and over that, you start losing points. Yeah. It's quite tough. And see, by Wednesday, your legs are now starting to get really heavy, yeah? And then, so then that's it. Wednesday, afternoon, you mill. I have a funny story here, actually. So, we had done grenade training a couple of weeks before P Company, but I was getting fucking worked on my groin. What do you call that when they put the fucking needles in your leg? The big fucking long needles.
Fuck.
Acupuncture.
Ah, yes.
Right, I was getting acupuncture. So I was getting that after an event or after a training session, and they all went on grenade throwing. So they were like, right, you can do it at some other point. So they decided to give me my grenade throwing the day of our milling. Do you know what milling is?
Yeah,
boxing.
It's boxing.
So we're the only regiment.
Defend.
We're the only regiment in the whole army that mills. They literally you have to stand and fight for a minute. I had to do
It's just
three.
all offense.
I had to fight 3. So I had to fight my best mate, and then I had to fight a couple others. But it's just a minute, mate. You're not allowed to block. So this is to show your aggression.
Yeah.
You stand there and they go gloves up, mill, no blocking, punch the fucking head of each other for a minute. So I fucking punched. I had having 3 mills, fucking concussed, fucking head bounced all over the place. I won 2 and drew 1. But then they were like, right, Craigie, you're going to do your grenade throwing. I remember my head being all fucking. So
They have grenades?
we drove, had to drive fucking order to a grenade range. And I remember the screw was like, right, this is what you do. Then I pull the pin, fucking throw, get down, let it go off, and that's your grenade done. So I fucking, we're behind this wall, right? I can't remember what the range is called, but he showed me and I'm like, right. So I remember, right, putting the fucking, I went like this. And it just landed right in front of the wall. He's like, fuck's sake! Dragged me down, mate. And we were just laughing. I was like, well, this is what happens when you make me throw a grenade, but I'm fucking concussed, like.
I joke, when the first time I threw a grenade, I released it too late. I released it and then it just went straight into the stones in front.
But I mean, it's weird. It's one of them. You don't realise. See, if you've never done it before, you don't realise they're quite heavy. Like you don't realise. Like if you've never threw one, you just as soon as you fucking fuck it up once, you'll not do it again. No, you know that.
100%.
So that was quite funny. So then we went back. Well, it could have been a lot worse than funny, like, but it was good crack. Then we went back. You go to bed, and then you wake up on the Thursday, and it's a 20 miler. So we have to get up and do the 20 miler. We drive up to Scotland.
March.
Yeah, 20 mile
March.
tab. It's tab. Just like the 10 miler, except we do 20. And then it's obviously done in a bit long. So it's like, I think it's like 4 hours, 10 minutes. But it's up in Scotland, mate. It's fucking hills. So we do the 20 miler on the Thursday. You're away all day because you go up there. And then you come back on the Friday, get up, and then you have a 5 or 6 mile stretcher race. You fucking do the stretcher in your team.
I saw the
So
videos.
it's the last event. So when you that's a Monday to Friday thing. Like you fucking add that up. That is body is fucking. Not to mention you've just had 26 weeks of beastings in the corridor, 26 weeks of shit, 26 weeks of trauma, 26 weeks of being called you're a cunt. But
Did you pass out the week after?
no, straight after you go back to your room, and then they do the parade where they get their beret. So we wear a green badge behind our beret, behind our cap badge, and you hand it in, and they take that off, and then you give it to you with your wings, and then you just look cool as you just think it's definitely the proudest moment. Like, see, getting that, and actually, like, if you consider where I was, week 1, fucking near enough crying at the corporal's door, wanting to go home, to now somehow being one of the fittest in the platoon, passing out, not coming off any events, because of one person who changed my whole outlook on life, you know.
What's it like? See the reality kind of shock of you've passed out, so you think right, you're the dog's balls now, but then you go to battalion and you're just a red arse, and you're kind of brought back down where you're with veterans that have been on combat tours. Iraq or
luckily for us, so I went to my mate Tomo's house. Straight away we were going on our jump scores because Afghan was coming up. They wanted us to get our wings. So sometimes you could be in battalion for 6 months without a wing, without your wings, and you're called a penguin then, and then you really are. Then you really do suck.
Yeah.
You're walking around with no wings in your arm. Like, mate, it's terrible. It would have been terrible. So as soon as we passed out, we went straight to Bryce Norton. But what I forgot to say is they also do an exercise called Manic Mole, by the way. This is one of the hardest things in training. So you basically dig an exercise. So you go on exercise, you don't sleep for 4 days, and you just dig, and you dig, and you start seeing shit, and you have to just keep digging and digging and digging. You'll be lucky if you get half an hour sleep. And there was guys found like miles down the road asking for a cup of tea at some old woman's house and all, because they're just fucking, they're not even in our realm.
Yeah.
If you've ever had, like, obviously you've had a wee bit of lack of sleep, it's not nice.
Yeah.
Do that for 4 days while digging cell scrapes. And then you do, at the end of that, you do like a 5.5K. You get gassed. So you have to do your gas mask, we do a full tab in gas gear. It's fucking terrible. Fucking snot everywhere. So that's another thing you do in training that's absolutely nightmare, hellish. But all that build you into what they want, so that you're ready for war. Like when you go to battalion, you are what they make. You know,
Train hard, fight easy.
Mate, that's train hard, fight easy, and until you're actually in a firefight, and you're like, fuck, do you know what? That shit's needed. They know what they're doing. But then we went to do our jumps course. Jumps course quite relaxed. Actually, I fucking hated the jumps course. See all the fucking shit in the. Obviously, you're in the hangar and all the stuff set up, and you obviously do your drills. But mate, I found the drills really hard and really hard to get.
Yeah.
It's actually just far easier when you're parachute because we're stuck on. You just let you jump out, mate, and you just
canopy
fucking,
opens.
well, you just hope for the best. But we're taught there's like 8 or 7 or 8 different drills. You're taught you can get hung up. There's loads of different things can go wrong, but you just hope and pray they don't go wrong. But we did our jumps, and then went to battalion and we started prepping for Afghan. They'd actually already been out in Oman training, so we kind of just jumped back in, and then we're basically out. They were like, right, you're going Afghan. That's
How
it.
much of your platoon went to 3-par?
What was it?
Like how much of your platoon that passed out went to 3-par?
All my mates,
Yes.
all my best mates. Well, apart from me and Spinks went to 2-par.
Were you all put in the same company? Or?
Yeah, well, me and Tom were both went B company, so we kind of done all our shit. We all went machine guns together as well down the line. But yeah, he was my best mate. But we went straight into B company.
And then, so you fly out to Oman then, is it? Or did they come back from Oman?
No, they were just coming back from Oman. They were proper training for Afghan, and then they came back from Oman. We joined on, did a couple of wee exercises before we left, and then we just straight to Afghan.
What was the welcome like? How were the senior lads and the senior NCOs like?
Mate, I'll tell you what, there was actually a guy, mate. He was from here, and you would think he would take me under his wing, but he made me fucking. He treated me like a piece of shit, to be honest.
Serious?
For the first 6 months. He was only our Northern Irish guy in our battalion. There was a couple of Northern Irish guys in our battalion, but he really just treated me like shit.
Did you ever speak about it
No.
after?
No, not really.
Did he go to Afghan with you?
Yeah.
Did you ever kind of get
But
along?
we got on in the end, but like,
Just a bit of a knob.
he was just a fucking arsehole, to be honest,
Yeah.
the way he spoke to me and all. But you would think he would be, have my back. But then again, that's just could be the way he wanted to be, you know.
Is it hard with the culture? Because like I know you just have there's a culture there, and like I see kind of other regiments speak about, like just in like interviews saying that the power's very arrogant. And
Mate, we're mad. It's all in there, though, mate.
I think you all have to be a bit fucking like a loose cannon.
It's just the ethos of build within our battalion, mate. You're the best, and that's it. No one's better. Even though there may be.
Yeah.
No, but most fighting battalions aren't better, though. We are. In the moment, we are the best, like.
Yeah,
we are.
Like, you just, well, tier 2, as you say.
Yeah.
So, bar going on the fucking soft queue, you know what I mean? It's, you are the best.
Yeah.
How did you kind of deal with was there much drinking culture
Yeah.
there?
But I didn't see that until after Afghan. Because as soon as I went, I literally was in, and we were straight going to Afghan. Like.
Yeah.
There wasn't. I can't remember the exact time between, but there wasn't much. Basically, straight to Afghan 2006. Then.
What was it like? First going in, first fields, first kind of.
I remember flying into Kabul, and mate, I'd never been on holiday. I'd never been to a hot country, and I remember walking off the back of the plane. And I'll never forget the smell. I can smell it now if I want to. I can switch it on any second. I just remember walking off, feeling the heat. And like the smell of just like burnt fucking ground, burnt sand. It's a real weird smell. Like, I just remember that, and I was like, oh, "This isn't fucking Northern Ireland anyway."
Yeah.
Got to Kabul, mate. Then we flew into Kandahar. We had to stay in Kandahar for a night. And mate, you're in Kandahar, and it's like being in an American city. They had because the Americans had been there, right? We were going to Helmand. We were the first battle group to go into Helmand.
Yeah.
So no one had really commanded the area in Helmand. That was our job. So we went to Kandahar. Mate, there's Burger Kings, there's McDonald's.
Pizza Hut,
mate,
no.
There's Pizza Huts. Mate, there's everything there. Big fucking shops, supermarkets, massive gyms. They were like, go to the gym, whatever. So we were there for one night. Went and had a look around. I was like, fuck, this is mental. I wonder if Bastion's going to be like this.
Yeah.
And then the next day I flew to Bastion, mate. And when we went to Bastion, mate, it was literally... There was nothing there. They didn't have a shop.
Serious? No PX?
There was
no.
like a fucking Effie or something, I think it was called. I think they literally made it as soon as we got there. It was, mate, it's crazy how things push on, but So because we spent hardly any time in Boston. As soon as we got there, we flew straight to Nauzad and then Sangin. So I think for 3 months we weren't even on camp really here and there. But yeah, got to Boston, got our shit sorted, and then we started going out in the ground, mate.
And then see your first kind of week. What was it like? Were you straight out like an outpost, or were you just
straight out? So we went straight to Nauzad, right? So we went to Nauzad. I think it was, mate, and this. So this is the first time I'd like on final acts and stuff in training. You carry your kit, you carry all your kit. It's quite heavy. You're not just in fighting kit. You're carrying everything.
Yeah.
So you're talking 80, 90 kilo maybe. It's heavy, right? This is one thing I didn't cater for. So when we went to Nauzad, mate, we got on that chopper, the Chinook. And I swear to God, I was carrying 150, 160 kilograms. Mate, so we have to help each other up.
Yeah.
So I remember flying into Nauzad. So we basically took over a police station in Nauzad. We landed about a mile out, mate. So we had to walk a mile. Have you ever walked a mile at 50-degree heat?
No,
mate, I swear to God, it was a proper slob. And I might as
full
well.
that gear as well.
If some fucker starts contacting me now,
you
I'm
can't do
hanging
anything.
out already. So we patrolled in.
You
And then
take
we
a
took-
knee there, you're not getting back up again.
No, mate, I swear it was so heavy, mate. So heavy. And don't forget, I'm just 18. I'm only turned 18 now. Like, it's fucking scary pickies, like. But we patrolled in, took over the police. So we took over an AMP station, which was a police station. And again, you're like, are these like, this is all new to me. I'm like, well, it's new to everybody. But just to go back, so my dream was to be the first soldier in Afghan. I was the first soldier off the back of the Chinook and Nauzad, so that technically puts me as the first. It's not mad that actually came true, but yeah. So we patrol in. Now, not we're only there for 2 weeks. Nothing much. The only shot that was fired and that was the AMP and all. They all get high on fucking heroin and shit. We had a guy on the gate doing security. He shot himself in the foot. The first round that went off was an ANA. It was an ANA guy high shooting himself in the fucking foot. We were all fucking ready to rumble, and he shot himself in the foot. So. But yeah, so we left there after 2 weeks, and then it's that long ago, mate. It's hard to like piece everything together. But then we went to Sangin, mate, and then that's just when, mate.
See, for people that don't know what Sangin is or where Sangin is, can you just explain to them?
So Sangin is like, so Sangin is in obviously Helmand province. It was basically Taliban city. So we are literally flying into a city that's just run, but it's just Taliban everywhere. It's a hellhole.
Yeah.
Now, when we got there, it was a bustling city, but it's run by Taliban. So, basically what happened is we had to fly into, Sangin district. Obviously, when you're in an area, you want to control the area. So you try and, the only thing, you want to control the biggest building we kind of wanted to take over because you can control the area. But the only thing is with that, it also makes you the biggest target.
Yeah.
But you got a command area, so we set up posts, we set up sangers. So we basically had to build this. So there was big buildings everywhere. Just imagine this complex. But we kind of have to fill in the gaps to protect ourselves. So basically from day one, mate, we are filling. We're literally proper conventional day one shit. We're filling sandbags. And as we're filling sandbags, we're getting shot at. We're getting RPG'd. We've got guys on the roof fucking fire. It's just firefights every day. Yeah. Hundreds of them. When we were in Afghan, I think overall it was like 600 firefights, maybe over the 6 months, maybe more. It was a lot.
Can you remember your first time in contact yourself?
I remember my first, and I remember just being so surreal. I remember we were on the Sanger and the rounds started coming in, and I remember just being like, the fuck, and I remember my screwdriver I said, Craigie, fucking get down, this is it, son, this is it. In my head it was like Halloween and we were just letting off bangers.
Yeah.
Even though I've done live firing and all, but see when you hear that crack in the whistle, it's like, oh fuck! So straight away down, you're up returning fire. Actually, one of them times we kept getting contacted then after that from this. It was a compound that was about 100 meters away. We actually called in a 2,000-pound bomb on that and just completely decimated it. But I'll remember the impact of it, right? And it went off, and we were all helmets on, and then about a minute later, mate, all the fucking big rocks just started fucking flying up out of the sky, mate. You don't really account for shit like that. And then it happens, it's fucking bits of rock hitting everyone on your helmet, big bag. That was quite fucking surreal as well. But we had A-10s. We get calling. A-10s are like American fighter pilots or fighter plane, and mate, they're fucking you want to see the cannon they have, and they carry 5,000-pound bombs, 2,000-pound bombs, 1,000-pound bombs. So we had guys who could, if we just pinpointed an area, they could call in an airstrike if they're the Air Force. And obviously we had the Apaches as our cover here and there.
Did they do all your air support, the Americans,
Yeah,
at
yeah,
that time?
yeah.
See,
Well, we had Apaches. Obviously, we had Apaches there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we the British pilots are like, but I think all the A-10s and stuff they're American.
all Americans.
Yeah.
See, for an 18-year-old just first going into contact like that, obviously your NCO saying, yeah, right, that's it. See, being 18, you think you're invincible.
Yeah.
Did you at that stage think that you were invincible?
I didn't.
Fight or flight kind of
It's
mode?
weird because I didn't. I've a lot more fear when I think about it. I think of the scenarios we were in, and I'm like, in the moment, I didn't really.
Some buzz, I'd say.
I can't describe it. It was exhilarating, I suppose, but it's just surreal, mate. The whole scenario is surreal. And then next thing we're just up over the wall, returning fire. Next thing you're just doing it. But at this stage, the first contact was really we were in Sangin, so we didn't have to do any fire. We didn't have to fucking go on attack. We were just literally firing back from the walls, seeing firing positions, and then calling in fucking airstrikes and shit.
See, at that stage, was it more combating the Taliban, or was it winning hearts and minds in the community?
I remember the first patrolling Sangin we did. I remember this is when it was still a bit of a bustling city, but I remember it was it's always we're trying to be hearts and minds, but at the end of the day, mate, we've just flew into Taliban city. It's only going to be hearts and minds for so long, mate.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a coming together, and people are going to leave that city, and the only people that are going to be left is going to be Taliban.
It's going to happen.
And that's exactly what happened. But I remember when it was a bustling city, mate, again, I would have been like point man, or at that stage I might have had the Chubb on, but the Chubb is a heavy ass piece of kit, mate. And this is where it's saying, like, just being a convention, this is why it was so hard in Afghan, because you're carrying all this kit, and see if you're on the Chubb. The Chubb, basically, what it does, it stops ice, so it keeps us in a bubble. You can't see the bubble, but like IEDs can be sent from phone signals and stuff. This blocks the signal.
Yeah. Do you have to stand up?
Well, I'll kind of be in the middle, and the bubble protects our area.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you're outside that bubble area, I can't remember how big it is, but you can get maybe caught up in an ID. But that kind of generally protects you from like signals. Someone could just set up on a hill, run a command with ID, and connect it to the phone. And as soon as they phone that, bang, it goes off. That's what they do. But they can be sitting way over there and do that.
Yeah.
And so this is meant to protect that bubble. But it's a heavy piece of kit, especially when you're a new guy, you carry that a wee bit.
Yeah.
But they did chop it around, like, everyone got to play their part, like. But it was heavy. But I remember patrolling out in the Sangin, again, you're only 18, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, across the wadi, there's people everywhere, you're giving kids sweets, and you're giving people stuff, and you're saying hello, and some people are normal, but then you just see people fucking up dicking, like dickers used to call them, spotters, and then next thing you're in a fucking firefight. And then everyone just disperses. It's definitely weird and surreal.
See, in a kind of urban environment like that there, how, because obviously kids are disciplined, but what I'm trying to, the question, I'm trying to word it in a way, how do you keep command and control in an urban environment when you just kind of scatter, so you end up fucking just going for cover? How do you...
Mate, because we are the fucking best. We have, our commanders are fucking... Mate, they're A game, like
drills down the team.
We're all drilled, but mate, you just listen. So, like, for instance, I'll go into so when we were in Sangin, obviously it was crazy on the rooftop. The singers were crazy. Every day there's mortars coming in, there's fucking RPGs coming in. It was crazy, and this was a daily occurrence. But also on a day to day, like life in Sangin would have been like, you're on stag for 2 hours. At night time, you done like 4 hours on, 2 hours off. You barely got any sleep. And then during the day, mate, you're making sure everything's tidy. You're doing your stag duties. You're fucking burning the shit pit. You're taking a shit. You're burning it. You're keeping the place as clean and tidy as you can. And then you just move about and do different duties. Now, obviously, you might have been on one singer for a week, and then you'd move about and stuff. And that was just the day to day routines. But then whenever the proper patrol started. That's when. So whenever we started patrolling a wee bit, but then we left Sangin. I think A Company took over, but they their first, can't remember. But they started doing patrols and they got hit. They got hit hard. That's where you see the VC brand bud and all. Like, there's lots of stories about like the A Company patrol. They got it hard, like. But then, so they were getting it real hard. Yeah. So this was what happened. They were getting hit hard, and we at this stage we were back in Bastion. It was one of the only times we were back, and they were like, right, we're going to put together an op. So we're going to fly in at dawn, just before sunlight, and so there was another building in Sangin, right? So picture big massive building in Sangin at one end, and then way across 2k, 3k away, there's another big building, had all these Chinese symbols on it. So it was nicknamed the Chinese restaurant, but we were getting contacted from there a lot. They'd said that was a kind of enemy position that needed looked at, and we needed to. So we had this basic plan together that we were going to patrol out, hopefully get across the Wadi. Wadi's like a dry riverbed. Get to Sangin town, patrol through, fight our way through if we have to. Then there's a big green zone you have to get across. Fight across the green zone if we have to. Get to the other compounds, and then we have to jump over some walls and shit, and then get to the Chinese restaurant. Seems easy on paper, but obviously not easy whenever the fucking Taliban kick off. So what happened was we flew in, and they were like, right, hopefully we'll get across. But I think I was either one or two, first through the door, one or two. Like, right, hopefully we get across the Wadi. We'll get to the first part of the urban bit, and we get there okay with no contacts, right? Literally we patrol out in this jingly truck. It's like a big 4-ton fucking Afghan truck, right? And then literally just drives past. But by this stage, by the way, Afghan, there's no one in it. The only people that are there are fucking Taliban, right?
Yeah.
And you know they are, but if they're not armed, you can't do nothing, right? There is kind of rules. So this jingly truck just comes past, and they're all like fucking smiling at us, and we're like, this is just going to go around the corner here, and this is it, kicking off. Literally disappeared around the corner. All hell breaks loose. We're literally out about 100 meters. So then we literally have to fire maneuver the whole way across, which takes time. And then this went on for 13 and a half hours, mate. So we had planned to stay out there for 2 nights or something. So what our plan was to go take the Chinese restaurant and hold it. We take that position and command that area. All hell fucking kicked off. Fought our way into the village. Then we got to the green zone. There's actually, I think there was a video. Our commander on the ground is at the corner, literally looking out the green zone. There's fucking rounds hit the corner. Dust goes all in his face. It's all on camera. And they're like, and he goes, fuck, that was close, wasn't it? So this is a big open green zone. So we're basically there, ready to go. And he gives us this speech. He's like, right, lads, this is fucking it. He's like, look out for grenades. You're going to have to fucking hard, fast, aggressive. So we're literally fucking fire maneuver and getting shot at across this green zone to get to the other walls. And then they're like, watch out for grenades. So in case they're going to chuck grenades over at us, fight our way over. We're getting contacted from everywhere. At this stage, the Royal Irish are round to the right, with other platoons are to the left, and it's mayhem. It's controlled mayhem. Like everyone knows where everyone's at, but mate, it's just complete mayhem. So we're getting contacted. There's all these compounds around the Chinese restaurant. So we're getting contacted as well from the Chinese restaurant. So we end up, they called in a 2,000 pound bomb. So this is the fucking place we're meant to be staying overnight. They called in a 2,000. So the A-10 flies over, fucking blows the building up. You can see it's damaged, but we haven't got to it yet. So then we're patrolling through, fighting our way through. And then the compounds around that building, me, Big Ian Potsy, and Dave Hodge. This is where I actually damaged my hearing the first time. So we get up, so imagine we get up, there's like a wall, right? On this side, it's about this height, but on the other side, it's like fucking 10-foot drop. But our ladders, you carry ladders, with everything there, but mate, it's way back because there's that many contacts going on. At this stage, Paddy Caldwell had just been shot. They were up on the rooftop. He was giving them boys fire control orders, been shot in the neck. They've had to drag him off the roof. He's now paralysed from the neck down. Again, this is one of the things about war that people don't fucking hear about. So he's having to get ushered back just to keep him alive. So all hell's breaking loose. So we take everyone's grenades, me and Dave, just run, jump over the wall, spank in on the other side, get up, and then we're just clearing compounds. Grenade in, cover your ears, bang, go in, clear the room. We're doing room to room, basically, just me, him, and Dave.
Was there much contacts there when you were clearing the rooms?
When we were clearing, there was no one there, but we didn't know because they had just been there.
Yeah.
But then obviously, mate, there's tunnels, mate. You barely ever see them. But they had just been there, so we're clearing rooms because there's fucking loads. There's shit hanging over the doors now, so you don't even know. So you're fucking grenade in, and then bang, bang. But whenever I'm throwing a grenade, I shout grenade, cover my ears, run in, clear the room. But then, like, Dave would have been in the next one, but I haven't heard him shout grenade. If you've ever heard a grenade go off in a mud room, mate, it's loud. So that's, we must have cleared about 10, 11, 12 rooms between us. And I remember my ears were ringing like fuck. But then we finally got the Chinese restaurant, mate. The fucking whole roof had collapsed in. But we had who was it? Matt Broomhead was up on the jimpy, just fucking do. Paddy was. We had another guy, Paddy. He was just giving them fire control orders, mate. And then it ended up, mate. Everyone was that fucked. We ended up having to fight and withdraw the whole way back after 13 and a half hours, and we were meant to stay out there for a couple of days. So that was just like a normal day in Sangin, should we say?
How much rounds would you have carried? Fuck me,
you know, I couldn't even remember. Couldn't even remember. But if you're a jumpy gunner, like, you know,
a few thousand,
thousands you'd have been through that day. Thousands.
So you used as the SA-80 at that
SA-80,
stage?
yeah.
Do you prefer the jimpy or do you prefer the
jimpy? So you'll learn when I went machine guns, you see, that was more thing. But jimpy, mate, jimpy's the best weapon in my opinion ever made.
Yeah,
mate, it's class.
See, in an operational environment like that, there, see the way I think it's like a jimpy's 400 rounds, then change the barrel. Do you actually would you have done that there?
It goes, mate. It goes white hot, like. Yeah, mate. It does, mate.
Would have changed it?
Yeah, have to.
And then the peel back, going back, was there much contact when you were withdrawn?
It was sporadic. It went on for 13 and a half hours. There was like lulls. There was loads of lulls in the battle, but 13 and a half hours. Basically a firefight, contact 4, clearing rooms, fucking fire manoeuvring across, not knowing if you're going to get fucking grenaded or blown up or ID'd. So it was quite, but again, there was no room for, you don't even think about fear, Len.
Yeah.
You're just, because when you're at war, like, all you're thinking about is the fella, like, keeping the fella beside you alive. So you're just on your toes at all times, making sure everyone's fucking covered. You do your best you can. So everything else is just secondary.
You've had like the 600 firefights. You've went through intense engagements like that. There, I'd say you've learnt limits to yourself. You've learned things about yourself. What would be the biggest lesson that you can take away from your operational environment in Afghanistan?
Oh well, the biggest lesson we'll go into now, Musikala. So our motto for the Paratrooper is "You drink your Pratis." That means ready for anything. The biggest lesson that I probably learned is to be fucking ready for anything, and I learned this on. This is a bit of a dark story, by the way, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. I've never really spoke about this out loud, but we. So there's things called scimitars, right? They're like a tank. They're armoured, but it's not very strong armour. They were doing loads of patrols around Afghan. They would just go out and go wherever. And this was the first really IED that we had come across. So there was 3 scimitar tanks, and they drove down a one-way system. And as soon as they went down there, the Taliban knew straight away that they have to come back. So they run a command wire IED across, and yeah, they were obviously just sitting somewhere waiting for the signal. So the 2 scimitars came out, and then the last one that was coming out, IED, bang. There was a big, massive contact, so the 2 scimitars couldn't get back to see what was going on. So they had to leave, and then what happened then, that there was 2 MIAs, because there was 2 guys in the scimitar. So they were MIAs, so I think we were on QRF. But, I'm sorry, we weren't on QRF. We had just came back from Sangin, and we were told, right, lads, you've got 2 days off, 48 hours off. So this is the biggest lesson I learned. Like, instead of fucking getting back and super rehydrating, getting the food into me, I just relaxed a wee bit. A few people did relax, you know. Because when you're told you 2 days off, you near enough just switch off. But in them moments, that's when you need to remember who you are. You're a fucking paratrooper. We're ready for anything. So I did hydrate. But when you're in, it's 50-degree heat, mate, you need to drink 8 litres of water a day.
Yeah.
And see if you're in firefights all day long, you need to. We just been back from a hard time in Sangin, so we needed to super rehydrate and get energy into us. So anyway, we'd only been home a couple of hours. We're like, right, guys, we need to go back on the ground. There's 2 British soldiers, MIA. We need to go find them. The scimitars can't get back in. We're told we're given a brief overview of what happened. So then we're fucking flying in the middle of the desert, mate, and we'll land about a K, 2K out, and we'll literally have to patrol the whole end. And then I think we had to fire manoeuvre our way in, and we got there. And then when we got there, I started to like feel a bit of heat exhaustion coming on. Then I stuck with it because I had to. There's fuck all else you could do. But we got to the scimitar, and this is the shit part of war. This is what happens when you're at war. There's fucking things happen, and there's nothing you can do about it. But so the guy that was on top cover, we had new body armour, right? So our old body armour was a chest plate and a back plate, right? Just about this size. But they brought new body armour in with, it was Osprey, was it? It was a big fucking big body armor, but it covers your basically whole central mass. And the guy, so the scimitar had been blown up. The roof had collapsed in on the driver, who had then got stuck, and basically it went on fire and it just killed him. He basically burnt. It was like melted to death. That was hard to see. And then the guy on top cover, from what I know, obviously I was dealing with the front part, but the guy on top cover, the blast was that strong that it's because the way the body armor is, it blew his limbs off and his head off. And we literally had to like, well, you have to bring bodies back, and we had to like, you know that.
Were people tasked with actually going and getting the red?
Oh,
his
had to get. I think it was our RSM actually got the body like. He actually.
It's the brutal. That's the realities of war. That in training you wouldn't think of it.
Yep.
It's
and I remember because I was like had heat exhaustion. I was a wee bit fucking. I was with it, but I was knackered, wrecked, and I just remember looking at it, going, "What have I just seen? What have I just witnessed?" But you just get on with it. Then listen, you can't think about it too much. I think you just put it in the box, the way it goes.
Would you have talked about it when you got back to camp? Or
no, I never. No
debriefing at all. Nah,
didn't speak. No, just I don't remember speaking to anybody. But then,
yeah. Would you have? See, just at the end of it, would you have went in for a debrief just in terms of the mission itself, or was it?
We did sometimes, yeah. But sometimes we just got back and went straight back to our fucking.
Straight back to
just back to lying on our beds, you know.
And then,
I honestly, I don't know whether it's because my mind's blanked it out, but I can't really remember. I just remember always going back and just lying on my bed and just going back to normal, watching fucking DVDs or something when you're back on your bed.
It's scary that you go from an environment like that there, just then back to kind of the normalities of
watching
camp.
Fucking men behaving badly on fucking DVDs or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You've been through. You've seen like just from us talking previously. You've seen like other things. American fucking mortar fire dropping short, and can you just explain to the people like that kind of story? Just because you've seen soldiers.
So this
now you're seeing
again. It's hard to talk about but at the end of the day, this is the dark side of war. The collateral. I don't even like using the word collateral damage because there's like innocent humans involved. But we run IRT, and again, like I said earlier, this sometimes I think is this real? Did that happen? I don't know what I fight with myself about it, but we run IRT, and so IRT is basically QRF is. If you have a platoon in a fucking deep firefight and they need help, you'll fly in and you'll support them. IRT is instant reaction team, but it's more medics. So if there's like people injured, Americans, innocent Afghans, anyone injured and they need help, we'll fly in, set up a cordon, get them back on the Chinook and fly them back. But on this day we run IRT, and there had been a contact somewhere with the Americans, and from what we heard, there was a mortar had dropped short and had an innocent Afghan family, so we kind of flew in, and we had to get them on the Chinook. And I remember it's weird because there was 18. It was like there was two teenagers. They were all fucking cut some fucking. There was pink dye all over them. I don't know if it was like a red. I don't know if it was red phosphor or mortar. I don't know what it was, but there was pink dye all over them. And then there was a wee baby. I don't know if the baby made it. Because I remember our medic working on it, the baby was only a couple of months old. And I just remember the dad crying his eyes out. And I just remember sitting going, fucking hell. You're really...
What can you do?
Just surreal moment. And again, you go back to your room, you put it in the box, and away it goes.
How long were your deployments to?
7 months.
7 months.
Basically, just over 7 months.
And then, see when you're coming back from the likes of that there, so you were in Sangin. How long did you kind of stay there in the outpost? Like, was there a rotation? Like, stay there for a month?
Just depending. Like, Nizad only went for 2 weeks, and the Gurkhas took over us. Sangin, we were there for, I can't remember, 4 or 5 weeks maybe, and then there's just rotations. C Company were in Garesk, A Company, B Company kind of mixed about with Sangin. But then we also done like little ops in Musicala here and there, just flying in, patrolling, wee skirmishes. And then I remember this is the only thing, right, in Afghan that I was I was fearful of. So before we went there, we were told like it's like 70 or 90%, like 70% of the country's mined, right? You're like, what do you mean mined?
Fought there for
They're like-
centuries, like.
The Russians literally mined 90% of that country. They just fucking drop mines everywhere. I'm like, what do you mean? We're just walking down the road and going to see a mine? But so I remember landing in between like two hills in Muscala. We were patrolling in, and mate, I don't know it's because where our choppers had landed, and Chinooks blew all the dust. I remember getting out, mate. There was just mines. I'm literally stood here, and there's a mine there, mine there, mine there. I'm going, that's a fucking landmine. And I straight away have to be like, right, put in the box, patrol on. But I remember being like, if I stand on that, like, I'm fucking.
That's you.
There's a real good movie. I don't know if you watch it, Kajaki, but the mine strike with Reaper.
Nah, haven't
Watch it.
What?
Mate, you need to watch it.
Mad.
Mental.
I think I've seen.
I remember hearing this all on the radio, mate. It was scary, mate.
So we'll just go back into Afghanistan and kind of the daily life of just being in the fucking, like, so let's say you're fucking IRT, QRF, fucking.
I've got another
Stag.
story from the IRT actually.
Is it the Chinook and the.
This is the Royal Irish guy. So again, we were on IRT, and this is another fucking day in Afghan, another mad day in Afghan, and the Royal Irish, obviously they were in Muscala, and they were fighting their arses off, doing an amazing job. But one of their lads had been shot, and he was basically dying.
Yeah.
And we could hear it all on the radio, what was going on. He was dying. So our Chinook, we got in Chinooks and we flew, and we were hovering over the area. We were quite high up, but every time we tried to go down, we were getting brassed up. Now you can't, a Chinook's really loud, so we can't really hear. You can see flashes or whatever, but anyway, they weren't going to land. And we were like, this fucking kid's going to die. We need the fucking land. We need this. We need to get him home. And it ended up, the chopper didn't land, the Chinook didn't land. We ended up flying back to camp, and then the lad actually died, and our Chinook got fucking rode off for two weeks because there was that many fucking bullet holes in it, apparently.
Did you know much Royal Irish lads when you were out there?
No, mate, randomly, not really.
The Pars is just your
It
world.
was just, yeah. Now, at one stage I was on the Gympie, but Scotty had been using the Gympie for most of the tour. So I'd been on the Gympie, but Scotty had been in battalion a wee bit longer than me. And half of my platoon were going to Musa to help the Royal Irish out.
Yeah.
And Frenchie the medic, with Paddy, Bry, Scars, Jimmy Hutton, Frenchie the medic, and I think a sniper, I can't remember his name, but they were going in to help out, and they took Scotty. So I would have been in Musa, but they took Scotty because he had a bit more experience on the Gympie.
Yeah.
And so he went to Musa. So they ended up staying a month after our tour, and that's how they evacuated all together, which was madness. So they just fought to fucking hold this fucking Musicala for so long, and just handed it back to the fucking, and the Taliban walked them out.
I know, it's, see, like in that documentary that I've watched, and it says one of the jingly like trucks drove them out for like 6 hours in the desert.
And mate, anything could have happened, like.
That's putting a lot of faith in who you're fighting and the enemy, and
apparently they're all trying to steal the kit, and they're all trying to steal all the kit and all that. Off the trucks. Crazy.
See, when you kind of look back, well, like obviously a lot of firefights, you've seen a lot of stuff, you've been in contact. What did you think of the Taliban? Was there a mutual respect as fighters?
Yeah, mate. The thing is, you never see, mate. So there's tunnel systems, mate, all over them cities. Like we used to go into the tunnels, fucking mate, pitch black, but they know the ins and outs. So 1 minute, mate, they'll be here, let off a burst. Next thing, they're fucking over there, or they're just gone. Now, obviously, we did find dead Taliban. So we did find them, and we did find their bodies and stuff, but very, very rarely.
Yeah.
Very, very rarely. It's just a fucking two-way range, and then usually they're away. But yeah, we did find dead Taliban. What fucking photos of dead Taliban? But it's a weird place. I've watched so many podcasts about people talking about Afghanistan, and you're just like, yeah, that's exactly it. It's just that, mate, they've been fighting. They have held that country for hundreds of years, mate.
Yeah.
No one's won a war there. The Russians just fucking left. Mate, this is a surreal thing about we went for big patrols in the vehicles and stuff, and mate, you're just driving in the middle of the desert. Next thing you come across this big Russian tank, pure rusted. You're like, the fuck's this doing here? Just in the middle of nowhere, mate.
Just got up and
the
left
Russian tank, just sitting there. just real weird. Just a real weird country, mate.
And then,
But respect, I suppose respect as a fighter, I suppose, for them to be able to do that. But yeah, only a little bit of respect, I suppose.
100%, well, came to kind of the end
Yeah.
of your tour. Like as you say there, you could have went out with them lads and could have stayed in Musakala and would have had your tour extended for another month.
They got it bad. They're like Scotty, you know, like the Scotty Sanger. He got lucky. Sanger got more. He got blew out of the Sanger. The motor hit the roof, blew him clean out of it. Like
So
that's how. Mate, Musakala was like Sangin was a bit of open area. They had to come across an open area to get if they wanted to get close.
Yeah.
Mate, Musakala, you're in the thick of it, mate. You're literally on the wire.
Yeah.
They're literally right there at all times. It was constant. So Musakala, they got it tough in
Intense.
Very intense. You know, very, very intense.
And what was it like leaving and coming home, and how did you kind of what did you do the first few days?
What I did notice when I came home, I did get into a lot of scraps. I did get into a lot of fights when I came home from Afghan.
In England or here?
In England, at home, every weekend I went out and I'd be getting in a scrap here or there. Now, don't get me wrong, I wasn't going out and just beating people up or starting a scrap, but if there was any altercation, I was just...
You were in there?
It was fists being thrown. And it definitely took me... I would have been like that for it definitely took me a couple of years to kind of like, what am I doing here? Fucking...
Yeah.
And so I don't scrap anymore. It would take a lot for me to actually get into this scrap. Like I can easily walk away from stuff these days, and I have done quite a lot in the past. But it definitely, I don't know whether it was. I don't even put it down to Afghan. I just being you're a paratrooper, mate. You're just wired. The wire you different.
Yeah.
They pull your wires apart. If I can imagine it, they pull your wires apart, break you down, and rewire you in the war fighting machine. And like when you're in Afghan, that's what you are. But when you get back home, that's not what you are. You got to remember, you're back with normal people again. You can't live like that. But so I don't know whether it was. I don't know whether it was anger from Afghan. I don't think it was, because I think I dealt with that stuff okay. I never got home. I never had bad dreams or I never had nightmares. I didn't really think about it too much. If someone asked me about it, I can talk about it.
Yeah.
Even though it's not nice to talk about, and some people might watch this and go, but at the end of the day, it's real life and it happened. There's not.
Was it easy for you to adjust being back to Civvy Street?
No, whatever. So obviously my army career went, when I got back from Afghan, I'd always wanted to do machine guns, so I ended up joining machine guns. We've done this big Carta, but I don't know, I can't remember, loads of us done it, but there was only a couple of us, me and Tomo again was my mate, there was only a couple of us made it through. So we ended up going to machine guns together, and then we started a whole new life in support company. Support company's a lot more chilled out.
Yeah.
But our sole game is 50 cal and GPMG. You know, that's just what we do. So things become a lot more fun then. So we used to go down to Wales on the 50 cal range, mate. Have you ever fired a 50 cal?
No, I've seen the lads on the .5, like,
So,
but
mate,
I've never done it myself.
I honestly, we used to go down, set up on the big tripod on the range, mate, and you literally sit behind it like a motorbike and just go, mate, and the fall of shot is that big.
Yeah.
So you're firing on a big hill, there's cars and all over the other side, and you literally, you don't even need to aim, you aim off your fall of shot. You can just literally watch your fall of shot onto the target. It's fucking class.
It looks good. Like
yeah, mate. Yeah.
I've seen the videos. Like I've done the SF, just like GPMG on
an SF roll.
Yeah.
It's a GPMG is an aerial weapon. So a GPMG is made. So if you're in a firefight, a rifle, like your round never hits the same place twice, but a rifle will be quite accurate.
Yeah.
Whereas a GPMG, it's an aerial weapon, which means the rounds are quite sporadic.
Yeah.
And it's to keep the enemy's head down. So when you're returning fire, the rounds are hitting everywhere. So the enemy's like, fuck, it's coming in from everywhere. So that'll keep their head down. That allows us to command the firefight a bit better. Whereas if you put it on the SF roll, you cut down a tree with it.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's so fucking rigid. And it's pretty cool because when we get our sangers and stuff, and we'll identify farm positions or farm positions that have been there. And we use the C2 site. And we set it up, mate, so that we just call the decimals, and we fucking SF 102. So it could be a hole in the wall. SF, and there could be smoke in front of us, and we just line it up on target within a millisecond. So we might have 8 to 10 farm points, and we'll have SF 102, 103, 10. It's quite hard to learn.
Yeah.
Once you learn it, it's fucking amazing. So we could get contacted, and someone just goes radio SF 103, and we'll be like, rounds down in 2 seconds. So it's pretty cool that way. Same with the mortars. Mortars will have firing positions, and then we can just call in a mortar in 2 seconds. It's pretty cool. Like,
See, being well, obviously, right. So you're 20, 21, you're back in battalion. You're a combat vet at this stage. Do you get more respect from people when you're or?
I'll tell you a funny. So when I used to, I must have had a fucking resting bitch face, because when all the newcomers, I remember, like, there was a couple of guys came in the machine guns a year or so after us, but with Kiri and all. But I remember they came in, and I used to, like, I remember all the newcomers come in, they'll get shown around the battalion, and I used to walk around like this. I used to walk on my tiptoes and all. And then whenever they would come to machine guns, I'm like, really, we were always fucking shit scared of you. We thought you were an angry bastard. But I was like, but you're not at all. You're the fucking great crack. And I was like, I must have just had that I don't know, wee bit of aura about me or something. I don't know, but yeah.
Did you ever go on any other operational deployments or deployments to other countries?
So when I done machine guns, that's why I have big respect to a lot of my mates. Some of my mates, see, so the 06 tour was the tour to do, because it was the fucking conventional firefights. See, after 06, it was all IEDs, mate. It was just shit. Now, there was a lot of war fighting, but it just
Different
wasn't great. So if there was ever a tour to do, it's quite well renowned in the army. Like, there's 3 books out about it, there's movies out about it, you know. But that was the tour to be on. But a lot of my mates that did any other tours just fucking hated it. IED, all you were just worried about every day was a fucking IED, losing a fucking arm, losing a leg. So in terms of war fighting, we did the right one. A lot of people left after that, though. A lot of people got out after that. But a lot of people also went on SF, Special Forces and stuff. But
it's next kind of stepping stone for, I'd say, someone in a tier 2 unit.
Again, I watched that podcast with your man Jay Cald over there, but nothing will ever be as hard as carrying 150 kilograms through Afghan on your back.
Yeah.
SF are fucking amazing, but like they have all their assets and shit. Like, your man Jay was like, nothing will ever beat the experiences he got. But I mean, nothing would obviously beat the experience of being SF.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To have that in your back to say you've done that. But
the Gucci stuff.
He was just saying, like, he'll never work as hard as what he did on an operational tour, like a proper, just conventional one. You probably learn where you're just learning on the go, like.
Yeah. So, what was the last few years of life in battalion?
I did machine guns. I was in machine guns for a couple of years, and then they were going on ops again, and then I had done a medical. I knew my hearing was fucking shit, mate. So I'd done a medical, and I had spoke to my boss to try and, like, I was like, listen, you know, can you kind of have a word here? And he said, yeah, he's had a word, but my hearing was that shit. She was like, I'm going to have to refer you. And I was like, you do realise that if you refer me, because I don't feel like it's a lot of mine's high pitch here and I have tinnitus and stuff. I'm like, you do know if you refer me, like, this is my life over. Like, this is my job that I've wanted to do for my whole life. This is going to be taken away from me. And she was like, it was a woman doctor. And she was like, I have to refer you. And then that started the whole process. Probably one of my biggest regrets. So I could have, a guy Waldo, he actually died away last year. He'd done it. You know Nims Die? You know the Gurkha who climbed all the peaks?
Yes.
He was doing a jump with Nims, and the parachute got caught up, and he released just the last and hit the deck, but he died actually, just trauma. Nims tried to bring him back, but he was a Red Devil. So me and him got offered to go Red Devils, which is the parachute display team, like the best parachute display team in the world, but it's a parachute regiment display team, and they just go all over America, all over Australia together, and just do jumps in the stadiums. There's actually, Waldo got a cracking photo. The only person ever to jump in the, what do you call the Washington thing? The Pentagon. He jumped into the Pentagon, took a selfie of the Pentagon in the sky, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, so I got offered either to do that or go to the recruiting team. Sorry, that's a lie. There was no space for a para in the recruiting team, and because we weren't serving here. But my RCMO, he's a guy that deals with people that are fucking going through whatever, and I said, listen, I've been offered the Red Devils. I think I just want to go home for a year, just to see whether there's any chance I can go to the recruiting team or something over in Northern Ireland. He's like, well, we don't have a space there, but there's a thing called Black Economy. But I ended up getting me a job there, and I stayed there for a couple of years. So my last couple of years in the army were spent over here, and that's when I really met all the Royal Irish guys, because it's all Royal Irish and Irish Guards over here. And they're all good friends now, to be fair.
What would your job have been? Would you have went in the
at
schools
one
and
time,
all?
I run the stores. So basically, we'd take children on work experience up in Ballykinler. We do all the waxes. That's a work experience. And then one of our Irish officers came in and he decided to do a military NPC course. So we started doing 10-day NPC courses. So what we found was a lot of guys from Northern Ireland were joining the army and leaving after 10 weeks because they just couldn't do it. They just couldn't get their head around it. So we thought if we do an NPC course, we'll get them on the range. Obviously, we stand with them on the range.
Yeah.
But give them an insight, a better insight into army life. And then hopefully the pass-out rate will then grow because if they've had a bit more experience. I think it did actually work. I don't know if they still do it now, but I think it did actually work. So it was quite good. So I would have run the stores and stuff for that. Easy job. But then on the work experiences, mate, would have been out, take the kids out and exercise night time, fucking do wee ambushes and show them all cool stuff. So
were you an NCO with this?
No, because I couldn't have medical field.
The medical. Fuck yeah.
So I couldn't even.
That's fucking mental, isn't it? The way that it stops progression completely.
Yeah. And that was me. I was like 21, 22 then.
Serious?
So I would have probably, at some stage pretty soon, been on a promotional, I would have went on D&Ds probably, because it was just the next step.
Yeah.
But you can't, because you have to pass the medical to do that.
And was there a stage where it was kind of like a bitter pill to swallow that?
Well, I knew, I just wanted to go home for a couple of years. Because I knew, just in the moment, I was like, you know what, but now looking back, I probably should have joined the Red Devils. Because I could have done 22 years still and went all around the world. And just parachuted everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
What was the kind of moment that you realised that time's up?
When I was in the recruiting team and there was people coming in who'd only been in 2 years, they were lance jacks. And they couldn't tell me what to do because they just got fucking chinned.
Yeah.
I came to the point where my boss called me in and was like, right, Craigie, you got to stop chinning people. But he's trying to tell me what to do. I know, so that was kind of the moment.
That's it. And then
I was like, yeah.
Did you go off your own back to do that, or did?
No, it was medical.
Medical.
So my captain actually got me a real good medical discharge. Like, see, I had a really good, my history, my records were all fucking exemplary. Like,
yeah.
So I remember, like, he didn't have to do my own battalion didn't even really give a fuck. He forgot I existed basically when I was over there. But I can't even remember his name now, but he came to my final medical, and when I came out of the room, he went into the room with them and sat with them for 45 minutes, speaking to them. I don't know what he said, but he came out and he goes, "Don't you worry, son, I've got you sorted." So yeah. And then that was basically it, mate. 24 years old, 8 years in the army, done. Out in Civvy Street. That was a struggle, like. 2 years, mate, just gambling, fucking doing stupid shit, mate. Spent a lot of money gambling. Sitting in my room, bored, didn't know what to do with myself, which then eventually led into personal training. The one thing that I never stopped doing was going to the gym.
Always done it?
Always, mate. Every day. And then one day I just started training a couple of people, and I was like, why? And then it made me feel like I had a wee bit of a sense of achievement again. And then that's what I've done. Started from then.
That's mad, because you left the army at 24 after 8 years, and I only joined the army at 24.
I know, it's mad.
I think it's mad the way it works.
I know.
So you've left the army at this stage. You're now personal training. What kind of made you go into the coaching? Because you are quite renowned for coaching.
Yeah.
And fuck, a great training style, and fucking you're a big fella. So how did the kind of passion and love for coaching start?
Just the feeling I got of helping people was kind of like the feeling I got. No, it's not the same, but the sense of achievement I got in the army for doing things.
Yeah.
You get the sense of achievement when you're training people and you help people and you put a smile on their face. My thing when I coach is I make sure, and it doesn't matter if I've had a fucking shit day, I like to make sure my clients leave with a smile on their face. That's first and foremost. That's the only thing. Everything else is secondary to that. I got them there with me for that hour. They have a busy family life. They've got kids. They work 12-hour shifts. So that little hour they get with me, I make sure they leave that with at least with a smile on their face. You know what I mean? That is my ethos in training.
Do you think, was there ever a stage that when you did leave the army that there was a lack of purpose?
Oh, fuck. I still get it every day.
Still get it every day?
Every day.
Even with
There's
what
moments,
you're doing now?
There's moments every day where I question, what am I doing with my life? Is this meant to be? Is there anything else I could be doing every day? Every day.
And how do you combat that?
Sometimes most of the time, obviously I've got to hear, so I do, but sometimes you don't, mate. Put it in the box, away it goes.
Put it in the box. And again, just because I had Tiernan McCarthy on there before, and he's very, he kind of embodies now, because he says it's kind of like practicing what they preach, being vulnerable and speaking about stuff like that there. Do you think that's, see, putting it away in the box as you do there, do you think that's a pro or a con for you? Do you think that's it's a positive? Because it can work for some people.
Don't get me wrong. But even talking about it now is probably a good thing.
Yeah.
So it's out of the box. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know. I do I go for a lot of walks. I train all the time. Yeah. So I always, I mean, don't get me wrong. Everyone has shit days. Everyone has fucking. One thing you learn in life is everyone does have shit days.
Yeah.
But the more active you be, the happier vibe will be.
Yeah.
And even on the days you don't feel like that, just get out, get moving, do something. And that's the only way. But as I say, people who have mental health issues and stuff will talk about that. Like, there's fucking, if you're a human, that you're fucking sad and you're depressed, but you don't do anything, you don't train, you don't do anything, you need to get moving, right? First and foremost, get moving, go training, go walking. And then if you find that helps a wee bit, but there's still something not right, could be childhood traumas, then go speak to someone. Figure out what's going on. You're exercising now, so there will be happy vibes coming. But if there's a due process you need to go through to speak to someone, just go speak to people. Speaking to people is the biggest superpower you can have. Sure, a problem shared is a problem halved. And when you start training and stuff, sometimes if you're overweight and stuff and you start training, it's just all you need.
Yeah.
But you'll know quite soon if that'll help you, but there may be something else then. Go speak to someone. There's people out there that you can speak to. Speak to me. Speak to any of my mates. Speak to Duffy. Speak to fucking T. Yeah. Anyone can reach out to us and we'll have that conversation. Because me, Duff and T, if we had put all our life experiences together, we could put some book together.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
See, it's fancy.
And we cover all ends of the spectrum. Fucking autism, fucking ADHD, we're all on the spectrum.
You have
but with good knowledge and good
community as
good
well.
Community, good backgrounds. He's been through things that I haven't been through. I've been through things he hasn't been through. He's dealt with a lot of stuff, suicide and stuff. So like, yeah.
You have everything.
Yeah, 3 big people.
See as well, like your classes, it is more of a community.
Yeah.
You and Rand's stuff, the stuff that you do. How important is that for you? Because I'd say that's an escape in itself for others, and you are helping them escape certain troubles.
It's just like some people, like you got to remember, some people work 12-hour shifts. Like life's hard, mate. So I've worked in a factory before, so I know what it's like to work in. Like I'm not distant factory, but some people go to work 4 or 5 shifts a week, 12 hours, and then they go to the gym, and then they go home to look after 2 kids, feed 2 kids, prep kids dinners. And fucking barely get a minute to scratch their arse. So, just gotta remember people how hard it is. So that community vibe that's like they don't get that at home. Yes, they have a loving partner if they're lucky, but that community vibe, that's their social side. Even if it's just an hour a week. But like they're at the weekend, last weekend, we're doing a wee challenge, Go Dark challenge it's called. But we're training. So this is for people that have struggled with the weekend. So we're training every weekend at 6:30 p.m. in the evening. And then we went and had coffee and played board games last weekend. Tomorrow night, we're training at 6:30 and then we're going setting up volleyball in the park. We're going to play volleyball. You know, doing something different on a Saturday night. You don't need to go out and drink and take drugs. You can switch it up. But the community side of that is the power. It's a superpower.
Yeah.
You know, that's more important than any result. See, just having people to chill with, talk to, smile with, lift heavier weights with. That's a superpower. You know, and that's what the group community brings. The group vibe, you know. I think I see anyone that messes me and says they're going on 1-to-1. I'm like, listen, I tell you what I'll do. I'll train you for a week 1-to-1, give you a couple of sessions, and then you're in the group. That's all I do. There's so much power. People don't understand the power until they're in it.
Yeah.
They're like, fuck. Every single person that I've took 1-on-1 and I put in the group, they're like, I'm really glad I joined that group.
Yeah.
Like I fucking told you.
What it's kind of like, see, when you go through training and, as you say, like, the camaraderie's brought through suffering together.
Yeah.
And, like, in the class, you're suffering with someone and you are kind of going through the same thing. You've got
exactly.
that common ground and you can talk about that. You can fucking
And that's what you'll find in the group community. Like, someone will be going through something that someone in the group's already been through. And they'll be like, yeah, I've been through that. This is what I did to help me get through
Yeah.
it. You know, and all. And next thing, everyone's bouncing off each other and giving each other advice. And I'm just stood there going, I don't even need to do nothing anymore.
Unreal. Like it's,
You know, and there's people in my group. Mate, I'm the coach, and there's people in my group that will, if I'm having an off day, they'll notice. Like, and they'll be like, "You all right, Neally?" And we'll chat. And it's like, it's a superpower for me to have. Because people keep me in check and keep me accountable too. So it helps me, helps them, helps everybody. And then people see that on the outside and sometimes they want to be a part of it, you know?
yeah, 100%. Like especially your presence on social media and the videos from the classes and stuff like that there. What is one thing that you've learnt from your time in the military that you've kind of carried out through life or implemented into life after?
Hard work wins every time. Respect everybody. And yeah, just be nice, mate. Be nice. Just be nice to everybody. Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah.
And then see when you think back on your time in the military, give me one word that you can summarize it all.
Madness.
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 And anybody that is wanting to join the military, may it be British, Irish, French, fucking
Do it.
anywhere.
Because what you're going to learn is brotherhood. You're going to learn respect. You're just going to learn a lot. You're going to learn a lot about yourself too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Well, bro, thank you very much for coming on. Absolute
My
fucking
man.
pleasure.